Again, I'm a voyeur, so I love it. I'll watch it.
It was definitely.
Sideshows that would come in and stuff. Do you still do those?
Yeah.
Oh, and the butterflies, before you get on, you're waiting in line. Yo, what up, body shoppers? Jill Samino here with
Zoe.
And Zoe only.
And me only. Sorry, guys.
That sounded like it could have been Chinese or Japanese. Me only. We got Merce Sausage, Bill and Shar, and Steven in the house.
Hello, hello.
What's going on, guys? Anybody else want to chime in before we... Oh, Jason, what is up, man? You are Johnny on the spot the last couple of weeks.
Right? They're pulling up at like 8:25.
Right. Although I would argue that that's about the meat of the show. Like things just really start getting juicy at about 8:25.
True.
What's up, Keith?
Hi, Keith. Hi, Jason.
So I have to tell the story about Mary Lou since she's not on here.
Yes.
So since Thursday night, Mary Lou's not been feeling well and literally has been sort of holed up in our apartment since Thursday night. And so this afternoon we're sitting down and I think we're getting ready to have our meeting. And I said, I'm not sure if Mary Lou's coming down or not. And one of them jokingly questioned whether or not Mary Lou was even still alive. And I said, well, I can certainly see how that might look that way. And literally 10 seconds after that, Mary Lou comes bebopping in. So Mary Lou is not feeling well, but she will not be on the live stream tonight. So, Jason says he's trying to make up for the episodes he's missed.
Hey, Anthony.
What's going on, Anthony? That looks like a little guy with a... What is that? What's that on his head? Is that a wiener on his head?
I don't know.
Anthony, what do you got on your head? Merce sausage isn't sausage a part of the meat? I would say, listen, we were literally just talking about sausage 10 minutes ago. It's kind of interesting the way the universe works that way, right?
Full circle.
Full circle.
I would argue that sausage is a type of meat, but not part of the meat.
Meat is definitely part of the sausage.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jason. My guess is Mary Lou's probably low-key watching. She might be on the big screen. She might be on her phone while the show's going on. Like a TV show.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of that, I spent the entirety of yesterday, other than yesterday morning, watching basically National Geographic shows from about 2:00 in the afternoon until, I'm going to say 2 a.m, but there's a time period in there where I was completely out of consciousness several times throughout the day.
I got woken up at 10:30 to my nephew. Well, no. Me and my nephew, we were sleeping in the same bed, and I guess my parents had gone out for breakfast, and they wanted to know if we wanted donuts. So they wanted to wake me up to know what type of donut I wanted, which I appreciate. But I also was working. Don't wake me up at 10:30 in the morning. What?
What kind of donut did you get?
Boston cream.
Is there any other kind of donut?
No. That's all you need. That's all you need in life.
Jason says Mary Lou type safe if you're okay. There's a thing on Facebook where you can mark your safe from Jill Samino. John Doe wants to know if fish is considered meat.
Yes. Next question.
I guess it depends on your definition of meat. Why is meat and fish considered different categories?
I'd say, it's an animal.
I mean, I agree. I
Right?
think it's meat, but
It's an animal. Is honey vegan?
I don't think so.
I'm gonna BRB for like 2 seconds because this mirror is clicking again and it's driving me crazy.
So the other day we're in the office and Zoe's at her desk and I'm at mine and she says, can you get the clicking? And I couldn't. So I got a little closer and as I walked into the office, I could hear this clicking. I get closer and I'm using my, my bat hearing and I'm like, and it was literally there's a mirror hanging on the wall that for some reason was doing this little.
Oh, yeah. It was just doing it. Driving me crazy. Driving me crazy. Also, hope y'all liked my pajama pants that I'm totally wearing.
So I was informed at some point after the event on Saturday that somebody was, how do I want to say this? Somebody was perturbed that during the sweaters and sweats party that certain people, including myself, were wearing sweatpants.
To the sweatpants party?
Well,
You were
they-
wearing sweatpants to the sweatpants party? What? Huh? Someone call TMZ right now.
TMZ. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I felt a little awkward wearing sweatpants to a party, but I guess no less than wearing my pajama pants.
Listen, it was comfy. I was cashing in wearing sweatpants to work the day I could wear sweatpants to work during an event.
I
Clearly,
wonder.
Clearly, Mondays are marked safe for me.
So I think the person didn't read past sweater. Like they saw the picture, they saw the word sweater, and they completely stopped after that. Like it could have said sweater and you get $1 million, and they would have missed that part. I don't even know what word that is.
Balenciaga? It's a brand. Like
Oh.
I think
Mine
Louis
were? I don't think
Louis
mine were.
Vuitton.
If
I
they
think
are,
like Louis Vuitton, Gucci, that sort of thing.
please, Jesus. The closest I get to that is Nike.
I think I don't own anything designer.
I guess you'd have to question when you say designer, do you mean like a luxury designer?
Oh, here we go. This is designer technically. This bad boy right here.
It's by what?
This is technically designer. My
Louis Vuitton.
No, it's Eddie Bourgault. This is bigger than the size of my neck, which really freaks me out that my neck is so small.
Yeah, that wouldn't even go around my ankle, I don't think.
It's weird that it's
It
like
might.
I still got like room too, you know what I mean? Like
Well, you're supposed to be able to slip 2 fingers in.
I could slip 8.
But yeah, so that I thought that was kind of interesting. And I'm wondering anybody who's watching who was at the event. So part of the reason we called it sweaters and sweats is because there was literally requests for having a sweatpants party. And I found it interesting that it was primarily requested by female presenting people.
Listen, sweatpants are nice. Sweatpants are a great time. They're so comfy. Especially with how cold it was on Saturday.
Yeah.
Say less.
I think that event was perfectly placed as it relates to the weather. Like It really that nightcap was bookended by some really cold days.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm trying to think. I have to shovel my stairs because Victor can't. I'm
Oh, that's right. How you feel about that?
not gonna complain. I'm not gonna complain. I just, you know, I'm a feminist, but sometimes I am not a feminist in the ways of there are male tasks and there are female tasks. Shoveling snow is a guy's task.
So when I hear that, one word comes to mind, and that is confusing. It sounds like selective feminism.
I mean, ooh, I almost just said a very controversial joke. I mean, yeah. Is it selective feminism or is it just chivalry?
Well, hold on a second. We're talking about your feelings about the situation, not somebody else's. I think, and I'm just going to say this out loud, and Mary Lou would agree. No matter what, I definitely, when it comes to things like that, I am 80-20 hard in the paint with being chivalrous.
Being chivalrous.
Yeah.
You know
Although I have a confession to make.
what?
It's not been until recently that I started opening up the car door for Mary Lou.
Oh, I know. Oh, I know.
You know.
Oh, I know. Yeah. There was one day, I think, where were we going? It was like all of us were going somewhere, and I want to say it was when we went to go see the movie. And Mary Lou was like, I have to wait outside the door, so G will open it, but we'll see if he remembers.
And did I?
No.
I think it was quite
And she was
cold
like-
that night.
You like opened up the door on your side, and she was like, and then you came over.
That's what
and
she
opened
gets
up
for
the door.
fronting. That's what she gets for fronting.
But yeah. She was like, we'll see if he can remember. You didn't.
See if I can remember.
I might be paraphrasing, okay? It was a few weeks ago.
Oh, no. I definitely see there's some sort of conversation that involves a test. Don't test me.
Shar agrees though, there's guy jobs and there's girl jobs. There is. Taking out the trash, guy job. That's another one.
Can I just say I struggle with certain things throughout the week and even at events, especially on nights where I'm one of the only male presenting people on staff. I struggle.
The guy jobs.
Yeah, no, I grew up that way. There was just certain things that you did because of your, size, stature, gender, or whatever, What's up, John? How you doing?
Speak of the devil.
There's
Hello,
Victor.
Victor.
Victor's coming in to prove that you are not funnier than him.
I
Zoe.
totally am. I totally am.
What's up, Julie? So Jason is excited to share that he will be potentially working at the he'll be working at the Adult Mart on Cleveland Avenue in front of the former Body Shop Canton location. I think that's what he's trying to say.
I still have never
Good luck.
gone.
Good luck, soldier. I'm stealing that from Zoe. I use that now quite
Good
often.
luck, soldier.
Yeah. Shar says she only cut the grass one time and it took her 2 pushes before she realized, peace, I'm out.
Mowing the lawn, another guy job. That's a guy job. Not to say women can't do it,
Or shouldn't.
but it's not a good time.
No, it's not a good time.
It's not a
And
good time.
no, and most men, I'm feeling a little naughty speaking for most men, but I'm just going to go on a limb that if they were able to choose between cutting the grass and not cutting the grass, and it could be cut exactly the way they would want it cut. Otherwise, they would choose to have somebody else do it. Why do you think there are landscapers?
Fair.
No job that you don't want to do is a desirable job for a guy.
It's a guy job.
That very well may be the case, but that doesn't mean we enjoy it.
I'm not a misogynist, but I may be a misandrist.
Misplaced feminism, that's what I'm going to call it.
Listen, it happens. Did you see that they have like Roombas, but they're like lawnmowers?
That's what Russ is literally, Twisted View really just said that.
Yeah, that's what it reminded me of.
Now listen, I'm down with listen, find me the robot snowblower. I'm buying that shit.
A robot snowblower?
Yes.
A Roomba for snow?
Yes. It's got to take an extension cord or be gas powered because I'm not doing the whole battery. Listen.
What about like solar powered?
It's not, there's not enough solar power to run that. It's still battery. I've gotten ads, articles for snowblowers, battery powered snowblowers. Are you kidding me? I can't even believe that's a thing. I bought a battery powered weed whacker and it frustrates me because it lasts 15 minutes. You know what? I think I just realized the frustration women suffer under when things don't last long enough.
Yeah, it sucks, doesn't it? Corded is always better. There's no stopping it.
Twisted View says they haven't cut the grass in 5 years. I'm curious to know how large your yard is. And it sounds like your lawnmower does it at one charge. And I'm really curious to know this. So Julie says they split things pretty evenly, though no real lawn care is required at their rental. John definitely does most of the cooking. And I'm not even going to speak of how I'll be eating if that wasn't the case.
My diet is horrible. I hate cooking. I eat like a college kid. Like, if I could live off of SpaghettiOs, raviolis, and gummies, I totally would.
Okay, so Bill and Char. How long does that last? For $50, you bought a battery-powered snowblower? I gotta know. This is gonna be... Opus Clips is gonna love this one.
Does it finish the job?
Yeah. Do you feel satisfied at the end of the job?
Do you feel satisfied?
Okay, a third of an acre, 2 to 3 charges. This is what Twisted View says. That makes about sense. Big Bacchus. Does a robot grass cutter pick up the little piles of batteries from a robot dog?
Silly. Do you remember those like 2000s like little like speaker dog things that like would pair with your iPod?
Wait, say that one more time?
You know, in like the 2000s, those like little like robot dogs that like connect with your iPod.
I'm familiar.
Light up face. That's what I just thought of.
All right, so Julie says that they used to have a plug-in snow thrower, an industrial extension cord, and they can't count the number of times someone ran it over. Well, I think I had one of those for a minute too. The corded one. I'm not going to lie, Bill Shar. I'm really surprised to hear that. Unless your driveway is like 10 feet long.
Hey, at least they have a driveway.
True. Yeah. That's my driveways were like 100 feet long. So
I have no
20
driveway.
feet wide. I ended up having to all right, so I have a confession to make about snow blowing and all of that crap. So I think it was the second year that we were open. Excuse me. the first year we were open, I was hiring out to have the lot snow plowed. The first year wasn't bad. It only had to happen a couple of times, and we were charged a shit ton. But the next year, the price doubled. And I was calculating in my head, really, Bill and Char, I am fucking blown away right now.
Blown away. Get it? Blown away.
Yes. Wow. John's was a quarter mile long growing up. Damn. That's a lot. So anyway, long story short, I ended up buying a very old vehicle that had a snowplow attached. I thought for the amount of money I was spending, 10, 12 pushes over the next 3 to 5 years, this thing's going to pay for itself. No problem. Well, while I have been able to use it and I have plowed, it has cost me more in repairs just to keep it going than I would have spent had I just had it plowed professionally every year. So this year I bought a snowblower. And I still have to have it plowed. It is nice for the walk, though.
Silly. I just hate the cold. I hate being outside in the cold in any regard. Once it hits wintertime, I never want to leave an indoor building.
I'm not a huge fan of the winter either. I don't mind if it's cold. I don't like that it's cold and gray and like that wet, slushy, dirty snow. When it's like a fresh snow and the sun's out, and I like this morning. Like this morning to me was like perfect winter day. Even though it's cold, it was still gorgeous out because the snow was just fresh and the sun is shining very bright.
I don't like the wind. I think I'd be fine with cold temperatures if there was literally never any wind.
I feel you there.
Wind chill factor is the biggest op in my life.
I agree. So for those of you that are tuning in, we have a special guest. I'm sure some of our Body Shop members would like to have a chit chat with. But a few weeks ago, we had talked about having Big Bacchus and Bubbles on the live stream, and they have been patiently waiting in the background in the virtual green room to go live. And we're thinking about bringing them on, and we're getting the thumbs up. Are you ready to have a chit chat with Big Bacchus and Bubbles, Zoe?
Mm-hmm.
You have your questions ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right. And there's Big Bacchus and Bubbles.
Hey, everybody. Good to see you.
Hello.
So if you don't know specifically, if you're watching this, Big Bacchus is on your right and Bubbles is on your left. Although they were the opposite earlier.
This is true. We were working on the mirroring thing with the camera. We weren't sure like if there was a better way to be mirrored or not mirrored. And it was sort of like that was the question.
What do you say, Zoe? Where are you on the mirrored versus non-mirrored?
I mirror the fuck out of my camera. That's why you can't read my shirt.
What does it say? Because I didn't even see what it said when I could read it.
Hauntless?
Oh,
Hauntless.
okay.
You're right. I can't read it.
That's what it looked like up in the corner there. The Stein sign. It looks like a barrel.
The barrel sign up there. Yeah.
So we talked a little bit about this earlier.
You better hug Buddy for me.
Hey, Teresa.
Hey, Teresa.
You don't usually see Teresa and Chelsea popping in the live
I
stream.
know, it's odd.
They specifically said they were going to come on tonight because you guys were on.
Aww.
Otherwise, they're like, we see your guys' faces all week long, all weekend.
Too much.
How about a night where we don't?
Oh, well, glad to be able to be here and mix it up a little bit. What is it? Variety's the spice of life, they say. So good to be here.
I think there's a great argument to be made for that, although not everybody would agree.
Oh yeah, certainly.
what so that actually is just going to lead me to my very first question about you two, and whoever wants to answer first. What led you to sort of engaging in or being a part of what most people would call the lifestyle, being sex positive, or like what was the impetus for you to take that step?
Do you want to go first?
Oh, okay. You want me to jump on that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Well, first, I just want to say that yes, this is uranium glass behind me. I saw in the chat someone asked about that, and so I got the black light on it. So yes. But what kind of got me into the lifestyle and so forth, and what really drew me to it, was I never really felt comfortable in my own skin in traditional sorts of relationships. Like my entire life, I felt like I was always trying to fit into a mold in some sort of way. And even when I was in that mold, it's like there were positives to it. And there's not to say that I didn't experience positives to it, but I just always felt like it was not it's sort of like, when you have the incorrect shoe on the incorrect foot. It's like you have your foot covered, and like, yes, it is not cold, but it just doesn't quite feel exactly right.
So Big Bacchus, let me interject something really quick. When I put my shoes on the wrong feet, it feels not just weird. It's like, what the fuck is going on right now with my feet?
Indeed. I guess it's worse for shoes. Slippers, you can kind of get away with for a little bit, and you take a step, and it's like, wait a minute. Okay.
Those are some facts right there.
This is true. This is all true.
So monogamous relationships felt like wearing your shoes on the wrong feet.
Yes. It was sort of like trying to get all of one's needs met from one person in terms of like emotional, physical, friendship, and just having so much onto one person that it was like becoming like a burdensome. It's not burdensome, but become challenging is probably a much better word. Challenging. It's sort of like I have a friend who I realized we could work together, we could be friends, or we could live together. We could do 2 of the 3, but we couldn't do all three. So we could work and live together, but then it strained our friendship. We could be friends and work together, but not live together.
No, that totally makes sense.
Uh-oh, Victor.
Oh, I mean, yeah. Oh boy, what do
I
I
can't.
stepped in a pile of something there. Excuse me. Check my shoes.
Oh my god.
That kind of it reminds me, I think there's a saying, and it's about like when you're doing business with somebody, you can get quality work, you can get it done fast, or you can get it done cheap. You can't get all 3.
Yeah.
And that's not to say that it's not possible to have all of your needs met by one person.
Mhm.
I think that would take a lot of, the word that comes to mind is sacrifice, but that feels like a strong or harsh word to use. Because I think there's a lot of people that are in relationships.
Responsibility?
No, I'm thinking of compromise. Maybe the compromise is the word I'm looking for. People come to compromises within their relationship to stay in a monogamous relationship because that's how so many of us were raised.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's interesting. So
Oh shit.
Okay.
Well, okay, so my story on how I started this is not wholesome at all. Basically, I just I entered my slut era after getting cheated on by my ex-fiance. So I was using that to cope.
okay.
It worked for a couple of years, and I started getting depressed and shit. But I had made a lot of, good friends in the lifestyle and all that, so they introduced me to like different levels of it. And that's kind of just taken off from there. This is my first time being in a non-monogamous relationship, so I'm learning a lot about myself. Like I have a bigger ego than I thought.
Bigger ego.
Yeah, so I'm trying to put ego and pride aside. It's kind of hard for me, but I'm trying to get it done.
So, if you don't mind me asking, does that look something like setting aside the thought that this person who is supposed to be, I'm supposed to be special to and is special to me,
Mhm.
should only be with me?
Not necessarily like only with me. I mean, he's been communicative this whole time. He's like been super upfront, and I respect everything about what he's been doing. I think a lot of my issue with it kind of came from trauma and everything because there was no honesty, there was no communication.
Yep.
So I'm not used to this. And it's
Yeah.
kind of like jarring to go from trauma to something healthy.
Trauma to truthful.
Yeah, exactly. Ugh.
I would say that the number one way, well, this is number one way for any relationship, but specifically for being in a
non-monogamous
relationship, is complete and utter transparency.
Oh,
Absolutely.
totally.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
And the interesting part, I think, when I say that is that's what everybody wants in their relationship.
Mm.
But the truth of the matter is that if that's what you really wanted, you would find out really quick that your partner does think about wanting to fuck other people.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
A given.
I mean,
We ain't nothing but mammals.
hence me spending 12 hours yesterday watching nothing but animal shows on my day off. So it's kind of funny you said that about mammals.
Oh.
You know. But no, that's, I mean, Mary Lou had the book club a few weeks ago with a couple of our other members, Color and Frame and others. And the book that they talked about was Sex at Dawn. And that was literally the first book that I ever read. And by read, I mean listen to, audiobook,
Mm.
about sex and sexuality. And it was very illuminating how much we fight against our own instincts and DNA to be in a monogamous relationship. And it's so incredibly like, why? What is the point?
I think so much of it comes back to sort of like almost a nature versus nurture aspect of it, where I think there's sort of like a little bit of both. In that, like, you know, there are some people that we are like so societally accustomed to be like a monogamous relationship for different reasons, but like, you know, the nature question then is like, are we naturally wanting to be non-monogamous, or I mean, and I think there's some people that naturally want to be monogamous. I don't think there's a right or wrong either way.
Correct.
And I just think that like this is how, you know, things have kind of come about, if that makes any sense.
Absolutely. There's no question about that. And so, Bubbles, you said you, and I'm just asking for clarification. Did your entire slut phase happen while you were a member of the club?
No.
Okay.
It started like 10 years ago.
That sounds like more than a phase.
Bubbles is like, it started the day I was born. It was a rainy Monday.
Yeah, I wasn't in a relationship for a solid 10 years before I met Bacchus here. So
Okay. So you were in a relationship for a long time. That relationship ended due to, I'm assuming, infidelity.
I got cheated on with my then best friend.
Wow. So you got a double whammy.
Yup. It sucked. I got over it.
Well, yes, we all get over it generally. I mean, at some point, but you really, it's good to see that you kind of took the bull by the horn, so to speak.
Oh yeah. I was in college when it happened, so I was like, I found out after going back home. So when I came back, I was like, I'm just gonna do whatever the fuck I want. That's pretty much how it's been.
Okay, so I'm going to ask a question that I think some people might be curious about.
Yeah.
Bubble, specifically for you.
Okay.
Looking back at that, I think some people would say like, oh, I went through this phase and I did all these things. And, you know, looking back now, it was a terrible thing, or I shouldn't have done this, or I shouldn't have done that. Do you do you find yourself doing any of that?
Not often. Sometimes it's like with certain people that I've done it with.
Well,
Yeah.
I think we all have those
James,
sorts of
that's-
regrets,
Oh,
Yeah, no, I learned a lot about myself, so that's how I took it.
but you don't regret living your life,
Nope.
and that led you to here.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm enjoying it still.
So you two are unique, but not uncommon at the club. And what I mean by that is you both came in as individuals, not knowing each other before the club, correct?
I know.
Oh no, that's actually not correct.
We met on a different dating site.
Oh,
Yes, I was already a member, and we met elsewhere on a different site, and then
He
that's
introduced
right.
me.
You started bringing her.
Yeah.
yes,
Wow. So wait a minute. How long have you been a member then, Bubbles?
Oh, since May.
Okay, so getting
Well,
close to a
shortly
year.
after like we and I started dating.
Okay.
Yeah.
Were you open to each other that you were non-monogamous then?
Yes.
Okay. And if you don't mind me asking, like what I'm assuming you met on an app.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep. It's called Boo.
What was it?
Boo. Like Boo.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, okay. I'm unfamiliar. Zoe, are you familiar with that app?
Mm-mm.
They're not super well known.
It's a
Okay.
smaller one. I think they say it's for introverts.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
It's us.
Well, that's good to know. So it's BOO.
Yep.
Correct.
Interesting. Okay. Well, good. And you both, that is so wild that you both consider yourselves introverts.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm super shy. I don't go anywhere. I stay home. Like,
You realize you're on a live stream where there are
I know.
quite a few people. So
Right.
I would argue this is the opposite of being an introvert. You guys are
Right.
literally putting
No.
yourselves out here.
To play off what Bubbles just said, you know, I feel differently within the club environment. You know, I feel so much safer to be myself here. I can say silly things if I want to. I feel comfortable with everybody, and I feel safer to be myself than I do in the outside world beyond the our family environment. And so it's very liberating. I just love being here.
Same here.
Yeah. That's wonderful to hear. And it's great to hear people who would claim to be introverts saying and doing the opposite of.
Oh, yeah. They usually say the quiet ones are the freakiest.
Is that true?
I mean, in my experience, yes.
I mean, that said, Bubbles, I would definitely say that you are on the quieter side. We actually, before we came on the live, I had said to Big Bacchus, I said, we got to make sure the audio is good because I know Bubbles could be a little quieter.
Yep.
No.
That's always how I've been.
I don't know. Bacchus, you don't seem so quiet and reserved, though.
Like I said, it's within the confines of this space that I feel comfortable to be this way, and it's sort of like when in my outside of this environment and these walls, even these virtual walls here that we're sharing together tonight, it's like I worry more about people's thoughts. You know, to give a little background, a short background, like, you know, I was born in Germany with the military, and so I grew up during part of the Cold War over there. So it was always drilled in, like, you know, be careful what you say, loose lips sink ships, watch out who you're talking to. And so, like, that sort of like always influenced my life a little bit, or perhaps more than a little bit. But like, I just feel so safe to just be like, you know, whatever, you know, I'm here in a safe environment amongst friends.
Well, that's good. I mean, the fact that you feel confident and comfortable enough to just be yourself and let your freak flag fly, so to speak. You know, both of you. Yeah, I think there's a movie, and boy, the name of it eludes me right now, but Sarah Jessica Parker is in it. And somebody's talking to her about her being so really uptight about everything. And he says to her, he goes, you have a freak flag. You're just not flying it. And I think that's true for a lot of us, where the interesting part is we all hide our freak flag because we're afraid of being judged, right? We're afraid of what other people are going to think or say. Well, if everybody just flew their fucking flags, we'd all know who to go gravitate to so we can enjoy some shit.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like being on this podcast, I've confessed so many of my darkest secrets, just being like, tee hee hee. That now it's like, you know what I mean? Like, I've probably talked on this live, like, I've talked about wanting to fuck Venom. I've talked about the Gil from Finding Nemo.
Yep.
Like, there's really no more secrets. I think I've maxed out the taboo. That everything else just seems pretty mundane, right?
I don't know. I got some envelopes here. We can try and push them if we want to.
Oh God.
Jason, you are correct. It was The Family Stone is the name of the movie. And I think, already involved in ethical non-monogamy, or had just really been thinking about it a lot when they said that, and I was like, wow, I really like that, and I've used that phrase so many times. Bill and Char says they don't care anymore. They let their flag fly.
That's great.
That's important. Good.
I didn't even hide it around so my parents came down this weekend. They stayed at my place from Saturday to Sunday. Well, before they came, I was like, I won't be able to come tonight. I'm going to get this out of the way before they get here. So I did use my Hitachi. Shout out Hitachi. As I was vacuuming at the end of the night, 2:30 in the morning, I was struck that So Raven style, like flashback, that my Hitachi was still laying on my bed, that my parents were going to be sleeping in.
Oh my God.
Oh my.
So I'm freaking out. I'm on the way home. I go, Mom, did you get back yet? Mom, did you get back yet? Mom, did you get back yet? Mom, are you at my house? Mom, are you at my house? On the way back, we got 10 minutes. Me and Victor just got in the car to leave. Like, okay, we have 10 minutes. I said, do not go into my room. I left something. Do not go into my room, right? You can imagine my surprise when me and Victor pull up to my house and my bedroom light is on.
Oh God.
Oh no. Oh.
So I'm freaking out. I walk upstairs. She literally has my nephew sleeping on the bed. My Hitachi is hidden underneath a pillow, right? Hidden underneath a pillow.
Oh.
You didn't hide it there.
Sleeping. No, I did. She has my nephew sleeping on the bed. You can imagine which pillow he was using.
Oh.
I go, there's a reason why I told you not to go into my room. Now I gotta wake Cole up, get him out of the room to then move this. And my mom's just sitting there like, well, I had a suspicion it was probably gonna be a sex toy, but like, I didn't know your dad thought it was gonna be a sex toy. It wouldn't be the first time I found your sex toys. I'm like, Mom,
She put it
first of
there
all,
anyway.
shut up.
You're in my room.
I literally asked you not to go in there so I could move it. And now my nephew's sleeping on it. So I pulled it out. I put it in my drawer, and she was like, "Well, whatever." I go, "Well, if you ever need a good one here in the market, this is the one to use." I would rather sleep. I go, "Well, maybe next time you should listen to me when I say, hey, please don't go into my room because my house, my rules now."
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. I think that's a consent violation.
Yo. Yours and Cole's.
I definitely did not consent to my mom seeing my vibrator. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I think parents are the ultimate consent violators.
Like, Jesus Christ.
Parents and little siblings.
Oh.
Oh my God.
Are you the oldest?
Yep.
Mm.
I'm
See,
the youngest.
I got the brunt of it from my parents because I was the oldest. Was it like that for you too?
Yeah, a little bit. I was like a third parent. It's like, why?
Yes. Yes.
Ugh.
Yeah. Yeah, both of my parents work, so I was up at 6:30 in the morning getting cereal for the brothers.
Yep. That's exactly how it is.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
I was-
So culturally, Big Bacchus, you said you're from Germany or born in Germany.
yes.
Is there a huge difference in cultures as it relates to sex between Germany and the United States?
Well, I must say that interpersonal interactions are a little bit different. And I had to learn a couple of things. And that was a little awkward at first. When I came to the U.S. when I was 17 and to go to college. And so I was here all by myself. My mom was like 6 time zones away. And I had to learn that in America, you take a compliment. That like if someone says-
you what? You what?
you take a compliment. If someone says
Oh.
like "I like your shirt," you say thank you, and that you go from and that's an okay thing to do. Whereas like in Germany, if someone says like "I like your shirt" and you say thank you, that's considered self-centered and rude to like just take a compliment that way. You're supposed to downplay the compliment and be like, "Oh, what this old thing? I've had it for years. I got it on sale. I don't like the color." You're supposed to downplay it. And if you would just take a compliment straight out, that means that's like a very viewed as a narcissistic thing to do.
Wow.
And so little differences in interpersonal communication, I had to become accustomed to like that in order to survive better, gooder. There you go. Gooder. We'll make it a word.
Gooder.
Well, that's interesting. Because for the longest time, boy, you said that and it really triggered some thoughts for me personally. I would automatically be that person to downplay. And I had to change how I thought about that to when somebody's paying you a compliment, it's because they truly just want to pay you a compliment and to thank them for that. Because I always felt awkward. I would do that. I would say, "Oh, no, like, oh, what are you talking about?" Or, this, everything you just said. But it sort of takes away what that person said by doing that. Like if their true opinion is, "Hey, I really like that." "Oh, no, this is a piece of crap."
Mm-hmm.
You basically just said they have bad taste.
That is a very good way of looking at it. And, as a youth, that certainly is not the way that I was accustomed to looking at things. But I think that holds a lot of value,
Yeah.
in what you said.
Both are right,
Oh, yeah.
by the way. I mean, I don't, it's a matter of what fits for you. If culturally if that's appropriate and that's what's needed to happen, then you absolutely do it. So so that was it. Just paying compliments.
Yeah,
What's
pay
another
compliments.
example?
Let's see. It's called Pulp Fiction. They got the same shit over there they got here. It's just over there, it's a little different.
A little different.
A little different, the compliments thing. Dating was, very much similar. It was a little hard. I didn't speak German very fluently. I only spoke enough to get by. I could order food and go places and travel and all that, but I couldn't have like an in-depth conversation about one's feelings or so forth like that. Yeah, we're all human, but just little social differences
Okay.
made some challenges.
Would you say Germany is a sex positive country?
Have you seen her porn?
Yes, I have, and I enjoy it quite a bit.
Yes, I would have to say much more so, because the way what is obscene is viewed very differently in the United States versus Europe, or let's say particularly Germany. In the United States, having like boobs out on television is obscene because it's like can be viewed as obscene by some people because it may be seen as immoral. But we can have like graphic violence on television and whatnot. But over there, they limit the violence because they see that as obscene. whereas they see like the body and sex and the human form as being more natural, and like they're like, come on, they're tits, man, get over it. You know, what's the big deal here?
Yeah,
That's
everybody
like-
has these parts.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. Or like, I remember seeing the British newspapers when I was a kid. They always had the sports page with the woman with tits out on them too. And I was like, oh, that's why the guys read the newspaper all the time.
Because there's boobs.
In the newspaper, yes. I forget which one it was. I don't know if it was the Daily Mail out of the UK, or it was one of their more popular ones. But the sports page always had a topless woman in it. I remember that. Yeah. I don't know what sport she was promoting, but I remember that page.
And that's all
Underwater
you
basket
remember.
weaving.
Oh my goodness, that is great. So for you, Bubbles, were there any, when you realized it was okay to be in a relationship with somebody and be non-monogamous, how much did that differentiate from you and maybe how you were raised or culturally in that regard?
I mean, I was raised Baptist, so it's a huge.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, I left religion totally when I was like 16.
Okay.
And I was already kind of course, experimenting at that age. Like who doesn't? But it wasn't until like college that I really decided to just let go of like everything that I knew from my past. So just kind of like just stop letting it affect what I do with my life.
So somebody else's judgment.
Yep, exactly.
I think that's probably the when people talk about being judged by others, this is what's really happening. Those thoughts about being judged by others are just your thoughts.
Yeah, pretty much.
Period. There's nobody has given you any evidence of what they might think about you and what it is you do. Because if you're having a conversation about it, you'd be talking about you doing it.
Exactly.
And anybody who's a true friend or family member who cares anything about you isn't going to give two squats that you enjoy A, B, C, or D when it comes to your sex life.
Right.
And if they did, are those truly the type of people you'd really want to spend your time with?
Nope.
I only go around this, well, that we know of, this Blue Marble one time. So it's like,
Yeah. I heard within these four walls in this building, and it was one of our staff members, and they said there's no practice life here.
Yeah.
This isn't. Yeah. There's no rules. There's no practice. The only rules you have are the ones you make up in your head.
Yep. There's a lot of that going on.
Yeah.
And nobody gets out alive.
Yeah. We all end up in the same place.
Look, I just hope that if there's reincarnation, I don't want to be a human again. This shit sucks.
Yes. I think that it definitely, as somebody who just watched 12 hours of nature shows, I will say that I guess depending on what animal you want to come back as.
A dog.
Well, that didn't take long.
It did not. It was
That's
pretty
pretty quick.
Because they're loved, usually unconditionally. You're part of the family. You don't have to, like, there's no bills. You don't have to go to work. Or a cat. Dog or cat. One of the two.
Okay, but what if you didn't get to choose who your owners were?
Oh, God. Well, a wild animal of some sort. An owl. I love owls. It's my favorite bird.
Guess what? We are wild animals.
That's true.
Hi-oh.
We know. I mean, that's
Well,
just it.
uncivilized.
You can't control. If you couldn't control coming back as a cat or a dog, who is your owner, mom, dad, whatever you want to call it? Because I know many of us refer to our pets as children. But if you couldn't control that, you could end up with the worst of the worst.
That's true.
And that's true for even us.
Oh, God.
Listen, I was a young parent at 21 years old. Zoe, doesn't that seem crazy to you?
Yeah, I'm 23. I could never. Nope.
Yeah,
Nope.
my mom had me at 23.
Yeah, at,
No
at,
kidding.
at Zoe's
I'm
age
almost 30.
today, I had 2.
Ugh,
So
Mhm.
not everybody should be a parent.
no,
Nope.
You
Nope.
know?
that's why I got fixed.
Global warming is too real for this one.
Yeah. But so Zoe, you have to have questions.
Yeah, what's going on?
Yeah, okay. So like being in the lifestyle and stuff like that, Bubbles, you say it's like your first ethically non-monogamous relationship and like attending the club. What would you say like is probably one of the biggest challenges you overcame with coming to the club and navigating an E&M relationship for the first time?
Coming into the club was actually pretty easy.
Yeah.
I think for me, it was just like the whole relationship aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
Setting aside like past trauma, any potential jealousy that I have. Of course, I've experienced jealousy through this a couple of times, but nothing that would make me want to end the relationship. So,
How did you navigate that, if you don't mind me asking?
talking to him.
I think it comes back to that transparency and honesty that we were mentioning that was brought up earlier. Just like discussing our feelings and like, hey, this is X, Y, and Z. I feel a certain way. Let's talk about what's going on here. And just maintaining the communication has been I think, the biggest thing.
Pretty much, yeah.
Just not shutting down, just still talking.
Absolutely.
Right.
So, without getting into specific details, so unless you're comfortable talking about them, and the reason I'm asking this question is, jealousy is something that a lot of people deal with, even when they've been in the lifestyle for a long time.
Right.
Jealousy, Mary Lou likes to call it envy, because they are two different things. How did you two specifically navigate that? And what I'm asking is, what did you arrive at? Like, how did you work that out? What was I know you said being honest and transparent,
I'll try to
but
answer.
specifically, what was there? Was there an epiphany for you, Bubbles? Like, oh, I didn't see it that way? Or Big Bacchus, were you more like, oh, I didn't think about that, I'm sorry? Like, how did that end?
I'm not really sure how to answer, to be very honest, because there wasn't like a huge thing that we've had to like navigate through. Like, we've been together 9 months now. We haven't had like a huge fight. Of course, we've had like arguments,
natural things
but
couples go through, but
wasn't like anything earth shattering.
Right.
like, I guess it's a difficult question to answer because those are waters we've not had to navigate.
Yeah.
While they were, I guess what I'm trying to say is the waters were choppy, but not extremely turbulent.
Right.
And so it's difficult to answer that question because we weren't we're in a panic or awful state. It's just like, let's just, talk about it a little bit. So,
well, so using that reference, you're in the boat together and you both decided you were going to paddle in this direction to get out of that choppy water.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay. And that's really what it's about, is deciding, okay, this is where we want to go, or we don't like being where we are now. Let's go this direction and do it together.
Yep,
pretty much.
And talking
that you can always change directions.
Oh, absolutely. Things aren't set in stone. We can change our minds and as what suits us best.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was a great question, Zoe. What's your number 2?
If you could go back and give newbie Bacchus and newbie Bubbles advice, knowing what you know now, what would you give them?
Use lube.
Use lube.
Yep. Just always use lube.
Always.
Big Bacchus. I don't know how you follow that one up.
Well, let's see. I would try to come up with a list of inside her tips to give to myself and figure out what would maybe be useful. things like being oneself and being confident, and just sort of like not being afraid of fear
Yeah,
about
Mm.
things,
that's a huge
because
thing.
being afraid of the fear, or specifically, I guess in this context, fear of rejection or fear of a no from somebody, you know, that's a big thing. I think is a good advice. It's just like, it's okay. Not everybody's gonna like everybody all the time, and it's all right, because there's enough people in this world that like someone's gonna like you. I feel like if you're yourself and you're a good person and respectful,
Mm-hmm.
that like somebody's gonna like they're gonna like your yum. They're not gonna yuck on your yum. They're gonna like it. To use some vocab from the club.
For sure. And the cool part about the club and the community of people there is, even if it's not their thing, bet they probably know somebody who is into that, and will make the introduction, or at least say, hey, you should go talk to so and so.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the cool part about, I think, the club, is knowing that we're not all here for the one very specific reason. And showing up and expecting that it's just going to be a big buffet of sexuality for you and you alone.
It might be called the Body Shop, but it is not a shop of bodies.
Correct.
Wouldn't that be a morgue?
Oh,
That's what we should change the name to, the morgue.
the morgue. Oh my!
They're dying to get in.
Completely gothic rebrand, honestly.
Oh my!
Maybe we'll do that as a night. We'll call it the morgue.
The
Oh,
morgue.
Jesus.
Oh yeah.
I just hope it's not necrophilia based.
No, I think it'd be okay. Would this be a terrible idea, Zoe? Make it a vampire night.
Oh, that'd be
Vampire
fun.
night. Vampire night. Yes. Do it.
Call it the morgue.
Yes. You ever watch the Animals music video by Maroon 5 when they're like covered in fake blood and fucking? That's like my biggest kink. Anyway.
God, I
What
forgot
about Blade?
Yes, yeah, the blood is right there at the
A
beginning.
blood rave?
Yeah.
Ugh.
We're not going to have a blood rave.
Damn.
Oh,
Sick as hell, though.
Yeah.
shucks.
We'll make sure all the lights are red, though.
Oh, okay.
close.
Works.
We can do that.
So close.
Jason says zombie night.
That'd be fun.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think? So if we do a morgue night, is it zombie night? Because that kind of makes sense.
Would
vampire.
undead be inclusive of zombies, vampires, and other non-living beings, however they choose to identify? Or not
Cryptid night.
Let's see. Yeah. Like dare I say Walking Dead night? Oof.
Ooh.
I mean, Pittsburgh is home of, what was it, Dawn of the Dead?
I think so.
Or is it Night of the Dead?
Night of the Living Dead?
Night of the Living Dead?
See, I thought that was
Whatever that zombie movie is that takes place in the Monroeville Mall.
I'm unfamiliar.
I think it was like one of the first zombie films.
It's that movie with the guy in it who does the thing.
Yeah, he does the thing.
Yeah, is that helpful?
When I think
And
of
then My Chemical Romance made that song about it. Night of the Living Dead. Yep. Huh?
Wait,
Dawn of the Dead. I don't know.
yeah.
Dawn of the Dead, directed by George A. Romero. Ice skating rink at the Monroeville Mall. Appears in the 1983 film. Oh, apparently the Monroeville Mall was also in the movie Flashdance.
What?
Yeah.
All right. We'll have
The
to
ice skating
rewatch.
rink at the Monroeville Mall appears in the 1983 film Flashdance as the rink on which Jeanne auditions.
Wow.
Wow.
Good to know.
If I watched Flashdance, that would be enlightening more.
Flashdance.
I do know that Zach and Mary Make a Porno was set in Monroeville. That's a funny ass movie, though.
Pittsburgh has been home to quite a few movies.
Oh, my God.
Shout out Batman. Shout out Jack Reacher. Shout out.
Actually, my first one, and now I'm really dating myself. Forgive me. All the Right Moves, starring Tom Cruise.
Oh wow.
Yes.
Hmm.
If you've not seen that movie, it's his very first movie.
I was thinking, I've not seen that one, but one that comes to my mind is another vintage film,
Oh god.
a little bit. Striking Distance, I believe, with Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis, yes.
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 It's another
Yep.
Pittsburgh movie.
So I have sort of a selfish question for
Certainly.
both of you that you can answer together or independently. What is your favorite event at the club? Like you absolutely love it, and you're not allowed to say Halloween, New Year's, or Glowgasm because those are almost automatic. And then the second part to that question is, what event have you wanted to experience but have not seen on the schedule ever, if any?
Well, my favorite has been Kinkapalooza so far.
Okay. So the Saturday night kink night.
As for what I would like to see, I mean, I can't really think of one because I always wanted to go to a disco night and I did.
Okay.
So, and we did the emo night, which is great. So I can't really think of anything off like the top of my head. I
But
guess I
sounds
would
like maybe more dance themes.
Okay, I can't remember what era this is because my memory is terrible. But like Dirty South hip hop, like when Soulja Boy and everybody came out. That's what I would like to see. I guess like 2000s.
2000s.
Yeah,
That's like the Y2K party.
yeah, pretty much. Okay, I
Okay.
didn't know that one.
So a Y2K dance party.
Y2K hip hop.
Yeah, more of that. It just makes you want to dance.
So Big Bacchus, your favorite event outside of the 3 aforementioned, and if there were an event that you could magically make appear at the club, what would it be?
Well, I would have to say one of the ones I've enjoyed, two of the ones I've enjoyed that I kind of almost tie here are whenever we've had a what's the word I'm looking for? Mardi Gras
Yeah.
event. That was a lot of fun.
Like a masquerade?
Yeah. Well, and that was going to be the answer to my second kind of the question. Second part of your question was going to be sort of the masquerade sort of thing. And I saw that coming up as a listing, as a future event, and I was thrilled about it because I'd always thought like sort of a Eyes Wide Shut masquerade, sort of like Venetian mask sort of thing would be a different take on a party.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm happy to see that one on there because that's didn't have to mention it. But
Well,
but yeah, so I would say the St. Patty's Day and also the Mardi Gras. So those
Okay.
are tie for me because both of them are fun times.
All right. Well, that's interesting because we literally just put up today the St. Patrick's Day party
Oh, cool! I hadn't
for the body
seen
shop.
that.
It literally just went live today. It's called Lucky Me, Lucky You.
Oh, I like it. I like it.
Yes. And yeah, so the masquerade Mardi Gras type event you were talking about actually kind of puts together the two of the kinky and the Mardi Gras, with the masks and masquerade. So you'll be able to see a lot of different style masks for that particular event, more like BDSM, sort of hoods and things like that, including things like the Eyes Wide Shut masks and Mardi Gras masks. So
Yeah, I think it'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
I'm hoping it really does turn into a masquerade where most people end up wearing masks, if not all.
It'll be fun. Well, I'll keep my fingers crossed.
Yeah, me too. So, excuse me. Apologize for that. Zoe, do you have any other questions before we let these guys sign off?
None that I can think of off the top of the dome.
No. Okay. Well, guys, we really appreciate you coming on tonight. I hope that at least somebody watching tonight got to get to know you a little bit better. You guys are on the live stream almost every week. So being able to put faces with names is really a wonderful thing for a lot of people. So
Hmm.
Well, thank
really,
you for,
go ahead.
Thank you so much for having us on.
Absolutely.
It's been a lot of fun and a real pleasure to be on here with you guys. So thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you. We appreciate it. All right, well, we're going to sign you guys off so that Zoe and I can wrap up the show, and we'll hopefully see you this weekend, guys.
Sounds good. Have a good weekend, all.
Bye.
Bye.
That was fun.
That was fun. It's 11:10. We're at an hour and 10 minutes.
Hour and 10 minutes. Wow.
Hour 10. Hour 10.
So we didn't really talk about last weekend. I don't know if we necessarily need to, but I guess we mentioned sweaters and sweats.
Yeah.
You know,
Sweaters and sweats. Freaky Friday.
yeah, both nights were pretty good, actually.
There was something. I think it was a full moon last week. That's all I gotta say.
You know what? We need to look. Somebody told me that I think it's Valentine's Day, February 14th is a full moon. And then March 15th, which we just announced is our St. Patrick's Day, is another full moon.
No.
You're like, no.
No.
Listen,
No.
we're going to flip the script on the whole full moon thing, and we are going to get medieval on their ass.
Get medieval, drawn and quartered. Bring the tomatoes. We have the stockade.
Yeah, the first one, we're just going to walk out by the scruff and just walk him out in front of everybody. And when people ask what he did, we're going to say he didn't have a lid on his cup.
Right? Do it like a Game of Thrones style. Shave their head, walk them around town. That'd be silly. That'd be silly.
What did he do? He was a little too loud in the hallway.
Had his phone out in the playroom.
No, had his phone out as drawn and quartered.
Had his phone out as drawn and quartered. What's tar and feather? What is that? What is that?
Tar and feathered? I think tar and feathered should be I was going to say consent violation, but I hope they don't think I'm making fun. I think I said
feel like consent violation would be more like government mandated vasectomies. Government mandated sterilization.
What is it? Disemboweling. How about disemboweling?
Disemboweling. Are we talking like what was that one? The Bloody Eagle? Isn't that what it's called?
I don't know what that is.
There was like a Viking thing where they like slice your back and then they pop your rib cage open like wings.
Oh yeah,
Your
no,
back.
that sounds
It's in
terrible.
like Saw. It's in Saw.
Oof, no.
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 What about the Iron Bowl?
The Iron Bowl.
Yeah, have you ever heard of that one?
Mm-mm.
Apparently, I know way too much about medieval torture devices, is what I'm learning. But the Iron Bowl is this statue of a bull that they would load a person into, and then they would load a person into it, and then start a fire underneath it. They can't leave because they're closed into the statue, so they'd slowly like cook to death, and their screams would sound like a bull. So it would like make a noise as they're, cooking. And not in the let them cook kind of way, but actually just cooking.
Yeah, wow. So Big Bacchus, with clarification, March 14th and April 12th are the full moons. What is it in February? Maybe it's the 15th. I just want to be ready. That's all. I want to have my my garlic and holy water ready. February 12th. Okay. I think we're in the clear. It's a Wednesday.
Thank God. I have something on my computer screen and it's driving me crazy.
Julia, I hope I can say this publicly without no, I'm gonna refrain. Never mind.
No.
Never mind.
I know what you want to say. Don't.
Yep, no, I do. A medieval night could be fun. That would be like a Ren Fair night, no?
Dungeons and Shaggins.
Yeah, we did that. Yeah, Dungeons and Shaggins. We could
But
do that.
then, are we going to have those people that's like, that's Renaissance, not medieval? Or are you thinking the Enlightenment period? You know what I mean? I feel like anything before the 1800s kind of blends together in my mind in terms of the periods.
Yeah, I mean there's certain distinctions, but I think at that point that's like really, you know. No, Julie, I'll save that for another time. It's anyway. What do we got going on this weekend, Zoe?
This weekend, well, let's start with Wednesday. We have the screening of Baby Girl at the Parkway Theater. You can buy tickets if you go to the event page, and then there's a little button that says get tickets here. There's only 45 seats, so get your tickets as soon as possible. The movie starts at 7. I think we're pulling up at 6, right?
Ish.
From my understanding. But yeah, it's gonna be a good movie. I'm praying it's not like a 50 Shades of Grey type portrayal of kink, but we shall see. And then on Friday we have poly date night for all of our polyamorous folks.
I'm actually quite excited about this. The polyamorous date night. We have quite a large poly-seeking community of people.
Yeah, we have a large amount.
I hope they all, or most of them, take advantage of the night and try and meet somebody.
Mm-hmm. And then Saturday, we have Winter Elegance, a night of pearls and diamonds. Wear your pearls, wear your diamonds,
Or wear white.
or wear white,
Basically, it's a winter white party. We just dressed it up. We judged it up a little bit.
or have your little bukkake scene like Bubbles'
Ooh.
Come On Eileen Halloween costume.
I didn't even think of that. That's brilliant. I might need that night off.
Pearls and diamonds, bukkake. We got that wet room in the back.
Shh. Anyway.
Does it freeze if it's sub-zero temperatures and you come outside? Find out this Saturday.
No. There'll be no wiener wanking outside. No wiener wanking in a winter wonderland.
You just come in a cup, go outside, throw it in the air.
In a cup.
Come in a cup.
That reminds me of The Jerk, the movie The Jerk, where he was talking about the Cupo pizza.
There was a I want to say this came out like early 2010s. It was really popular on Tumblr, and I was like way too young to be seeing this, but there's this really popular Tumblr meme where this guy had a jar and it had Rainbow Dash from My Little Pony in it, and he just kept coming in it, and it was like halfway full, and it was a disgusting color. And come in a cup, I always just get flashbacks to the Rainbow Dash jar, and it's oh like it.
I'm really dating myself with this one, but mine was The Two Girls, One Cup.
That one, I want to say I saw that when I was in like 5th grade.
That's crazy.
I've seen too much on the internet.
I'm glad I've not seen too much. And I've seen a lot.
I've seen far too much at far too young. Far too young.
Speaking of that, can we just talk about German porn for 90 seconds?
Go crazy on them.
They are referring to BDSM porn, right?
Like German porn?
Yes. Because like when I think of German porn, I don't think of anything other than just like BDSM and kink and fetish.
I mean, I would think so. They got like what's it called? I think the club is called like Bergdad or something like that. It's like one of the most exclusive kink clubs in the world. It got really popular on TikTok last year, and everyone was like, I want to get in because it's so exclusive. And then like they get in and realize it's a kink club, and they're like, ugh. Or they'd like pull up wearing like a black t-shirt and black jeans thinking they can get into this like super exclusive kink club. And I'm like, Y'all don't get it, do you? Y'all don't get it.
It's literally about the kink. Like, I think that's where my understanding is. Like, you're talking about like the kink clubs.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you are there to participate in kink.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not just be there, hang out, socialize, which is what it's like here. But you go to a club like that, it's in Europe, it's very different. Like, it's almost your presence is consent.
I can't speak much on German, but ask me about Czech fantasy.
Yes. Actually, somebody
Bang boxes left and right. Boom, boom, boom.
well, somebody asked about ours, and that's basically what ours has been fashioned after, was that particular Czech porn fantasy. We call it the bang box, right?
Yeah, Czech fantasy is what I search up on Pornhub, though, when I'm trying to find bang box videos.
Yeah.
I've only ever used the bang box once as a member, and it wasn't even in bang box fashion. It was just, don't do this, by the way. This was bad of young Zoe, but I used it as like a private room. All the rooms were being used, so I covered the hole. It's going to town in there.
Listen, it is what it is. It happens for what happens is what happens.
Don't do that. Don't be like silly little naive Zoe and use the bang box as its own room. But yeah,
It happens.
it was a good time. MacGyver banging. Honestly, it was kind of silly. There was like one point where someone like started touching my fingers, and I was like, "Who is out there?"
I think the ones that frustrate me are the people that go into the glory hole, close the door, and then ignore the wieners that come through because they just wanted to go in there and bang. Like, if you're going to go in there and do that, at least give a handy.
Please give a handy. There was one time I was given a tour and someone kept sticking their dick through the hole, and I'm like, "Bro, I'm giving a tour. Stop!" And they just kept doing it, and I was like,
Wait, were you actually talking to the wiener?
"Yeah," and I was like, "Dude, I'm giving a tour. Stop."
I said, no, I'm giving a tour.
Yeah, right. And then like it got to a point I was like, if you don't stop, I'll flick your balls. And then they put their dick away. Obviously, I wouldn't flick their balls. Or would I? But they did put their dick away. So
Rubber band.
here you go.
Okay. Is that legit? Like, even if that were your thing, if you were in the glory hole and your thing was to snap balls with rubber bands when they came through, would that be acceptable?
I
Would that be an
mean,
acceptable use of the glory hole?
you're kind of putting your dick out there for the other person to do with as they please. Right?
We're gonna have to talk about that.
What is
Like,
the bound? Is that an implied consent sort of thing? Because you're putting your dick in a hole. You literally have no idea what that person's gonna do with it after.
but
that is
listen,
on you.
You have okay. If I'm gonna put my wiener in a hole,
Right.
I am doing so with the understanding that something pleasurable is going to happen.
But it's never a guaranteed.
No, bubbles.
Why? Like,
I mean, I wouldn't assume that I was going to get my balls snapped with a rubber band or my wiener smacked with a rolled up newspaper.
get a paper cut on your frenulum.
Oh no, come on now. That's not even nice at all.
Like a
No,
credit card.
I think that there has to be a line.
I mean,
Big back. There's no
but
whack.
here's the thing. I feel like, first of all, I would never put my vagina just in a hole where there's another person on the other side. But like you would have to assume that there's some sort of risk, right? That like
The person on the other side is a sadist.
What if they're sucking your dick and then they just fucking take a bite out of it like an apple? Like, you did put your dick in a hole.
I don't.
No further conversation about boundaries and what the scene is going for.
Okay, Julia says I do ask if CBT is okay. Otherwise, she sucks it and calls it a day. I mean, okay, if you can have a conversation like that, that's great. But if I'm just hanging out in the hole and somebody walks in and closes the door, and all of a sudden I get flicked with a rubber band, I'm going to be more than disappointed.
Listen, you put your dick in a hole. There has to be some level of assumed risk, right? There has to be some level of assumed risk. If you're putting your dick in a hole, like, there has to be a level of assumed risk that someone could just really fuck up your day.
No. Oh, I would say if it's a kink night, there's a reasonable expectation that there is going to be a sadist on the other end of that hole, and therefore you should be aware that there's a 50-50 chance that you're going to have pleasure or pain or both.
You know?
Am I wrong?
When you go camping, you don't think you're going to get attacked by a bear, but like, it's a calculated risk, you know what I mean? Not saying the chances are 0%, but like, there's a possibility. An assumed risk.
We'll save that for. I don't think we're gonna come to a consensus on this one tonight. As the bearer of a penis, I think I can speak more on that subject.
Listen, as a person that would be on the other side of the glory hole commonly,
yes, like
we're coming from two different angles.
But what did it do to you?
Nothing. But like, you put your dick in a hole, there's an assume of like, okay, use this as you will, right?
You're not wrong. I'll leave it at that. You're not wrong. Is that good enough?
If I put my vagina in a hole, yeah, someone could slap the fuck out of my pussy. I would hope not, but like, I put my vagina in a hole, there's not really much I could do if they do.
Yeah, we're coming up with some good ideas here. Maybe we have to have a color code system. Like you put a card through that says pleasure
Right.
only, and you slide one that says no bet.
No bet. No dice.
Yeah.
It's just like a little like light switch. It changes the color on the other side.
Yeah, Julia's saying enter at your own risk.
See what I mean?
Neither one, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I'm just saying it's not right.
Not common.
No, both are true. How's that?
Two things can be true at once.
Yes, two things can be true at once. So anyway, like having a good time, but it going too long, like we are now.
They could make you come in a cup and then throw it outside. You never know.
Well, we'll see if it gets cold enough, and we'll see if we can do that. Jason says, "Don't throw it out; he'll eat it up."
And my little pony jar is trembling right now.
Mm-hmm. Jason says, "A light and better ventilation in the glory hole." Probably not wrong. So, did we cover Saturday's event? I'm sorry, I don't even remember.
Yeah, Winter Elegance.
Oh yeah, Winter Elegance. Yeah. Wear white. Oh yeah, that's right. That's how we got the thumb shots outside.
The whole thing. But yeah,
thanks.
If you saw this and were like, damn, I want to get my penis snapped by a rubber band in a glory hole, you can join the club at bodyshopclubs.com. Click the apply now button. You'll be asked a series of questions, 3 of which are open-ended. Those 3 questions include: describe your reasons of interest in joining the club, what should others know about you, and what type of interactions are you seeking? To be perfectly blunt, if you type in fun for your interest, what others should know about you, Dom, and then what type of interactions are you seeking, consensual ones, you won't get approved. Hi, literally everyone wants fun consensual interactions. That's why they joined the body shop. What makes you unique? Actually, type in more than 3 sentences. Go back to like you know, elementary school standard of like 3 sentences is 1 paragraph. And your chances of getting approved will be much higher.
Never guaranteed.
Never guaranteed, but if you actually give us workable content, it'll be a great time. After that, you'll be taken to our consent awareness policies program video and our age verification. I want to say it's around 17 or 18 states are currently requiring age verification for adult content. If you've ever been on our newsfeed, you know there's a lot of adult content. So by requiring age verification, we can get ahead of it should Pennsylvania ever pass laws like that. Because personally, I don't want to go through thousands of IDs to confirm that you are over the age of 21 in a day to
Be
verify your
compliant.
age. That would not be a fun time for me, and I don't want to do that. Thank you. Alternatively, the Consent Awareness Policies program ensures that everyone has the same basic ideas of consent before joining the club. What legal consent is, why you can't be intoxicated, rules regarding the playroom. Everyone has the same amount and expectations going in, at least in terms of basic sense of the consent module, our play space rules, and things like that. Once all that's complete, if your application still doesn't get approved, staff will most likely email you inquiring about a further action required, be it more information, your cap, your age, a reference if you had it, anything like that. So check your emails. Sometimes it goes to spam. Be aware of that. If you heard all that and you want to become a member but you're not quite ready, I'll let G hype up his wife right now.
If you're not quite ready for the club experience, but you are curious about ethical non-monogamy or kink or fetishes, polyamory, or anything other than traditional relationships, visit marylou.com and you can book an appointment with a board-certified sexologist who does, yes, also happen to be my lovely and beautiful wife, who is a little under the weather right now. You'll be able to set up an appointment, talk about your wants, needs, desires, how to move that further with or without a partner. Depends on your situation. She does work with couples and individuals. That's all I got.
Also, if you get approved and you're a new applicant, Mary Lou does offer a 15-minute consultation for free where you can ask her about random stuff that might be on your mind. What are the rules? What is the club like? How should I navigate this specific portion of my relationship with my partner before attending the club for the first time? All things you can ask Mary Lou, who is a very smart woman. I have come to her many a times and been like, Mary Lou, I'm coming to you as my boss, my friend, a sexologist, and the HR manager's controller. What do I do? And she gives me great advice.
Good. That's good to know.
Yeah.
She gives me a lot of good advice too.
But yeah, I'm like, Mary Lou, I'm coming to you as both my friend, my boss, a sexologist. Help me. But yeah, that's about it. Any other words of advice? Don't forget to go to your local glory hole and use a rubber band on someone's balls.
No.
Before you tap it. And always use teeth to keep them guessing.
You guys have a good night. If you're not at the club this weekend, we will be back here next Monday, 8:05 Eastern Standard Time. We hope you have a great rest of the week and great weekend if we see you here. You guys have a good night.
Certified freak, 7 days a week. That wet ass pussy good. My pull-out game weak. Ooh, yeah. I'm fucking with that wet ass. hold you extra hard. Put your pussy in my face, swipe my nose like a credit card. I'm gon' tell you wanna run, do a giggle while listen, spit in your mouth, girl, while you looking in my eyes. Your pussy is wet, I'ma take a dive, I'ma tie you up like you're a prize. Let's play, I wear disguise, I'ma park my Mack truck in your garage. Yeah. I'm fucking with that wet ass, swimming in it, baby. Yeah. I'm fucking with that wet ass, pussy. Gobble me, swallow me, drip it down inside of me. I gotta jump out before it gets inside of you. Tell me where to put it, don't tell what you about to do. Talk your shit, baby, bite your lip, girl. Ask for a car while you riding that dick. Oh, I'm gon' tell you wanna ride, do a giggle while it's inside. Spit in your mouth, girl, while you looking in my eyes. Your pussy is wet, I'ma take a dive, I'ma tie you up like you're a